Morning, how are we doing today? I want to do a quick video about parents. Now, it's important to mention two things before we start. Firstly is the fact that the link between what happens to us in childhood and the way we behave as adults has been well documented, so there's no need to review it here. And secondly, it's important to say that whatever I say about parents now, it doesn't mean that I believe all parents are evil or that all parents are out to destroy their children in any sort of meaningful way. There are parents which are very emotionally mature and who interact with the children in a emotionally mature, attached way. Obviously, most of the clients I see, if not all of them, are a product of emotionally immature parents, and I suppose it's important to say that those are the sort of parents I will mention next. Furthermore, even with emotionally mature parents, it's not my intention to suggest that all parents are evil. They, more often than not, don't know or can't do any better, if you like. They are the product of their own childhood trauma. In a sense, the only thing they might be guilty of is perpetuating generational trauma from their parents, grandparents, whatever, and onwards to their children. So we're not trying to suggest here that they are deliberately, in some cases, doing it to, mistreat the children anyway. Sometimes it's just, a case of pass the parcel. Whatever happened to me, I pass it on next because I'm emotionally mature. I haven't had time to reflect on how that could potentially affect other people. So I think that's important to specify very early on. Now, people from the LGBTQI plus community will understand what I'm saying very, very easily, unfortunately, because it's very likely they would have gone through some of this. But although it's very common that parents disown children who belong to the community, obviously it can happen to people of any orientation and any sexual preference and so on. I think as a society, and it's not just our society, but as a society, as a commune, as a way of life, we understand or are indoctrinated from a very young age about some ultimate beliefs when it comes to parents. Now, these beliefs are essentially that all parents love their children, all parents are people that you can trust, parents will do anything for you, and they will be there for you no matter what. You can tell them anything. Parents are the kind of people you trust and you can tell anything to. They only want what's best for you. All parents want what's best for you. Whatever they're doing, they're doing it for your own good. So they know best, they're doing it for your own good. You can always go back home, wherever you are, whatever happens, you can always go back home. And they will love you no matter what. These are some fundamental principles that we as a society believe about parents. Now, some of my clients have been disowned by parents or made to move away from home because the parents could not cope with the fact that they were trans or non-binary or whatever. Some of my clients have had to intervene between two fighting parents on a regular basis. Some of my clients have been physically assaulted by their parents. So it's very hard when society tells you that these things are what parents do. They're trustworthy. They will always love you. They'll be there for you no matter what. All this, you can tell them anything, whatever. And actually, your lived experience is is quite the opposite. It's not something that you recognize. Now, the difficulty that we have is because we are told by society this kind of ultimate truths about parenthood, is that, of course, if we feel any different, if we feel that maybe I can't tell parents everything about myself, about my preference, my sexuality, my orientation, anything like that, what's the result of that? The result of that is that there must be something wrong with me. For example, if whatever the parent is doing for my own good because that's what I'm supposed to believe, and actually the parent is behaving incredibly maturely towards me, and I become, like some of my clients, the parent's confidant, the parent's keeper, if you like. I'm actually more a partner for my parent rather than a child. Actually, what I'm supposed to be doing is to entertain my parent, to make sure my parent is okay, to look after emotional needs, and not the other way around. And of course, if I'm feeling that, well, society told me that this isn't really what should happen, but I'm doing it, then what's the logical conclusion, especially when we are young? Is that there's something wrong with me? So a lot of the people I see have got this kind of almost internalized idea of self-loathing, because if society says these parents are in this way, and that's not my experience, well, it must come to pass that I'm the one that's to blame. I'm the one at fault. So my message today really is, if you're an adult at the moment, well, I suppose you're an adult at the moment, otherwise you probably shouldn't be watching these videos. But, and you still have a difficult, shall we say, relationship with your parents, have a moment of reflection and see how many of the things I've just said, these kind of ultimate truths about, being able to go home and trustworthy parents and or loving parents and whatever, how many of those have you internalized? How many of those are true for you? And how many of those you felt that didn't happen because you maybe didn't try hard enough, or you weren't good enough, or whatever else you've been made to feel your entire life? Have that moment of reflection. See if you can change the narrative in your head. See exactly what's happened there. And this is not with vengeance, this is not with fury, this is not with hatred, just in trying to understand what the narrative of your life has really been like. I think it's worth doing, because I think when you ultimately realize that some of the stuff's happened, again, not because necessarily your parents were evil or whatever, but just because they passed on their own trauma and emotional immaturity, then maybe it's a first step to your healing as well. So, I hope you have a good week. Talk to you soon.